Join us. It's time for Garden Giants Ask Bubba, and today is the big April 1st seed giveaway in Dairy Dew products. We're going to give away some seeds and some worm dew and a water bottle, stainless steel water bottle from Dairy Dew. So please join us. We're also going to have a little visit from Josiah Brandt and get some feedback on what he thinks about male pollinators. So please join us today. All right, now on to Asking Bubba questions and answer video. I'd like to fall back to the last video about the male pollinator. Josiah asked about the male pollinator, and I feel like I really just lightly touched on the topic. There's so much to know about what influence the male pollinator has. And I think if you're new to growing, you really need to understand that the male seed does not affect the fruit that year. Whatever pollinator you pick is not going to turbocharge or turbo grow that pumpkin. It's not going to do the colors, the shapes of that pumpkin. What you're growing this year with that mother plant will be the genetics from last year's father, the father that's on your cross, not the new one that you're going to introduce. So keep that in mind. And another thing is that when I'm saying about you need to grow the plant out, and the big reason for that is that one of the big reasons is that a lot of seeds are challenged. Like for example, the 2145 McMullen, many of them were challenged seeds. I know Jerry Rose grew a couple. He wasn't crazy about it, said they didn't do well for him. That's very common. So the only way to really know, did you get a good 2145 is, well, what did it grow? So, but I want to take this to Josiah, take the question back to Josiah, because I know he has some more insight on it. So, hey, let's take this off to Wisconsin. Josiah, what are your thoughts on male pollinators, and what have they had effects over the last 20, 30 years in producing these mega giants?
Hey guys, how's it going? Josiah Brandt here. So the reason I asked that question about the pollinations and the effects they've had throughout the years, the controlled pollinations, is I kind of want to get the point across that we need to do a little bit better tracking of the male pollinator and actually growing that male pollinator out. Because when I look for a seed to grow, I'm always looking at that male pollinator. I want to see what that plant did. And lately it seems like a lot of people are just, they don't grow that plant out. They have a hot plant in their garden that they know is better than the rest, and they focus all their attention on that plant. And then you'll see like they'll have one really nice fruit, and then they'll have like a 800 pounder, 900 pounder with that nice fruit. And the reason is they focus on that one plant. That's why I always strive to take care of all plants equal, because I know I'm going to be pollinating the plants with themselves. I got my cat by me, and I really want to see what that male pollinator was able to produce. And another factor that people don't think about is if you have a male plant that you're just growing for the sole purpose of pollinating with, if you don't take care of it, if you don't spray insecticides and fungicides, if that plant comes down with a disease and then you pollinate it, well, that disease could transfer over to your prized fruit that you end up growing. So you just don't know what you get. And again, when I look for a seed to grow, I'm looking at that male pollinator. I want to see what that fruit looked like. I want to see what the plant looked like. A lot of times I'll talk to the grower and I'll ask how it was training the vines. Sometimes you'll get a fruit that is really easy to train the vines. They're thin vines, they're really flexible, and sometimes you get them where they're high in nitrogen, or sometimes just genetic where you have really thick, rigid vines, and it's very difficult to lay that plant down the ground when you're burying it. And I tend to stay away from those kind of plants, because if it's tricky to train, it's just going to give you a headache throughout the year. But controlled pollinations have definitely been a huge part in where in how we got here where we are. But the funny thing is, if you look at it, even though it's been 20 years, 25 years since we went from, you know, a 500 pounder to 2,000 plus, really it's only been 6 generations. So, and the reason for that is it takes time to find that seed that's perfect. And you just can't roll one generation after another. It takes a few generations before you find the gene that you want to carry over to the next gene pool. So in a perfect world, if everybody were to take care of their pollinations and really document their pollinations, you could theoretically progress even faster. Because right now we're progressing like a generation every 3 years, where we could realistically do it every year if you just really dialed in your plant and put the information out there, what the male plant did and what the female plant did. Again, the information I'm looking for when I look for a seed is if the plant had disease, the characteristics of the fruit itself, if it had a dill ring, the color, and the characteristic of the plant. If the plant was rigid, flexible. Those are just 3 things that I look for when I'm looking at my male pollinator and the actual female pumpkin itself. So just, you know, just thought for wisdom, and we'll send you back to Mark. And thank you guys for stopping by in Wisconsin with me. My cat says hi.
All right, Josiah, thanks for your input. Greatly appreciated. Now, what I'd like to do now is I'm just going to answer a couple of questions from last week, because we're going to have the seed drawing today, the April 1st seed drawing and product drawing. So that's going to take up a little bit of time. But for now, I had one good question. I had some many great questions, but here's one I'd like to answer. 7-Shooter asked, what are other ways of warming the ground if you're not using soil cables? Well, one way I like to do if I'm not going to use soil cables, if you don't have soil cables, is building a cold frame. Take your cold frame. Let's say you have a cold frame that you've built that's 3 feet wide, 8 feet long. Take that cold frame, set it over the spot you're going to grow. Dig a hole, dig it up a little bit to where you're going to plant your plant, and then just set that house over that hole. Keep it covered in plastic all day. It should heat up on a 55 degree day with the sun shining. It should heat up to 80, 90 degrees in there, and keep that rolling. That's going to warm that spot up. Nice shut up. Your shut up cold frame should heat it up to 80, 90. If you get a nice 70 degree day, it's going to be 100 degrees inside that house. That will warm that area, that spot where you're going to plant. I would do that like 2 weeks prior to planting there. That's one way to warm it up. Another way is if you're just last minute, you don't have soil cables, it's turned cold on you, is I dug a hole in the ground when I planted my 2043. I dug a hole in the ground and put a chicken bulb down in the dirt, like a foot into the dirt, and about a foot away from the plant, warming the soil, because chicken bulbs get pretty hot. And that would warm the soil. I could definitely see the difference. And then at night when I'd shut up the house. Those are just 2 ideas that you can use. So we're not going to answer all the questions. The questions that didn't get answered this week, I'll either answer them on the comment sections. I want to thank everybody for commenting, for sharing the videos, for joining us. But let's get off to the seed drawing. Let's have that. And then remember at the end, email me if you're a winner. Email Mark at worldwidegiantgrowers.com and give me your shipping information. All right, so now let's do the drawing. I hope you're the lucky guy that wins, or a gal. All right, thank you. Now let's see who the lucky commenters are. See, I've picked, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners. We have 5 winners. I think I'll start out with Pinterest. Who shared on Pinterest? I said I'd have a special drawing just for you guys, and this is what I have. The water bottle. The Dairy Dew water bottle is going to go to one lucky share who took the time to go to Pinterest and followed me on Pinterest. Keep It a Secret Home and Garden on Pinterest. Please follow. We'll have more giveaways from the Pinterest followers. Christopher Shortway, you're going to get the water bottle and a 2016 Boone & Herman from Europe. This is a great cross. 2145 McMullen times the 2095 Willie Hames. That's Matthias Willie Hames, our world record holder, current champion, 2,624 pound champion from Belgium. All right, you're gonna get one of these seeds along with the watering, stainless steel watering can from Dairy Dew. I want to thank Dairy Dew for sponsoring us this year. Love using their products. All right, next we'll go down the line, Worm Dew. If you're the winner of the Worm Dew, if you're out of the country and it's going to be a lot to ship it, then we'll work something out. I have many other seeds like long gourds, watermelons, squash. We could work something out where maybe, depending on where your location is, we can give you some seeds instead of the Worm Dew. But I'm going to give this bag of Worm Dew. This is half a bag of Worm Dew compost, which is very important to feeding your beneficials. All right, check that out on the Dairy Dew website. You can check out that product. But our winner of the Worm Dew is Stuart Toller. Stuart Toller, you are the winner of the Worm Dew. Contact Mark at worldwidegiantgrowers.com. Email me, and we'll work out the shipping details. All right, then we'll go down the line. I have a 2047. If you're new, these numbers here, 2,000 pound and 47. 2,047 pound Sipple from Wisconsin. Beautiful. I believe it was a Howard Dill winner. Won a Howard Dill award. It was a beautiful orange pumpkin. The winner of the Sipple is Stu Banks. Stu Banks, I believe from Canada. You are the winner, Stu. All right, contact me. Then the next is a 2261 Schmidt. This is 2,261 pound pumpkin from 2019 is the year. Great cross from Mike Schmidt. He was Rookie of the Year in Wisconsin. Awesome seed. This goes to Classic Rock 1135. You are the winner. Email me. We'll get it off. Now, do I hear a drum roll? Drum roll. The drums are rolling. The winner of the 1911 Urena. Now, if you're not familiar with this is a really good seed. This is grown the 2,528 pound Gettys and many other nice seeds. I'm going to grow this year. I'm going to cross this with my 2043 Clements. We're going to grow this. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to build a greenhouse with repurposed pallets. And we're going to do that. We're going to start that in April. I'm going to show you how I trench the soil, everything we do step along the way. I've never done that before, step by step. How to build a cave greenhouse, how to keep the deer out, and many other things you can learn this year. All right, the big winner, drum roll. Do I hear the drum roll? Here we go. And the winner is Adam Conrad. Adam Conrad, you've won the 1911 Urena. These have sold at auction between $100 and $200 a seed. Congratulations, you're our lucky winner. All right, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. And like I say, stay tuned for the future videos. We're going to go all out this summer. We're going to have videos. Josiah Brandt's going to check in once in a while, tell us what he's doing over there in Wisconsin. And we're going to grow my state record 2043, cross it with the 1911 Urena in the Kin Caves. And I'm even going to drive down to the Smoky Mountains first week of May. And I'm going to get a watermelon, a grafted plant, maybe 2 plants, from Chris Kent in Sevierville, world record holder. And I'll link this back to the world record watermelon grown by Chris Kent. It's 350 pounds. My good friend Chris is going to give me a couple grafted plants. I'm going to grow them here in Michigan. So follow us in Dairy Dew Products as I attempt to grow a new Michigan state record giant watermelon on the Mitchell farm. Please join us. Remember, keep it a secret, but go tell a friend. Bubba's sharing tips around the world. Please join us.